Hi guys, so I actually learned a lot from this chapter. For example, I didn't know that there was a difference between temperature and heat. I learned that temperature is the measure of the average kinetic energy of atoms, whereas heat is the total amount of kinetic energy. Originally, I had just thought that temperature was the presence or absence of heat. I didn't realize that they were two separate things. Another thing that I learned was that low frequency sound waves actually travel farther than high frequency sound waves. I would have guessed it to be otherwise because I know that I'm more likely to hear a scream, for instance, than like a woman's scream versus a man's shout, just because of the higher frequency. I found a couple things interesting in this chapter, but the one thing I found the most interesting is that heat capacity and specific heat are actually two different things. I learned that specific heat is the amount of heat required to produce a unit of change in temperature in a unit of mass of material, while specific heat is actually the amount of heat required to produce a unit change in temperature of the material as a whole. Not just a unit of the material, but the material as a whole. Actually, I've taken a few chemistry classes, but I didn't actually learn anything about heat capacity or specific heat in general, so all of that was new news to me. There was also a couple things that I want to know more about in this chapter. For example, I'd love to know more about density, like as far as how exactly it changes when water changes forms. I wouldn't have imagined that density would change because it's not like you're gaining or losing any water when it changes forms. Well, maybe when it turns from a liquid to a gas, some is lost in evaporation. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I would like to know more about that. I would also like to know why salt affects the density of water. I don't really understand that, so that'd be interesting to know more about. I hope I say this right. Another thing I'd like to know more about is light attenuation. I didn't really understand anything about that. I guess the way I understood it was it's the loss of light as the water gets deeper gradually, but like there's a coefficient with it, and I just don't understand what you do with it or how you use it. So that's another thing I'd really like to know more about. And then my 3 questions for this week are: 1, why does water have a higher specific heat in its liquid? No. Why does water have a higher specific heat than gases or solids? In the one chart it showed like limestone has a really low specific heat and water has a higher one. So I didn't know if it's just water that has a higher specific heat or if all liquids have a higher specific heat. I think that would be really interesting to know. And in that case, does it have something to do with density? Like the more dense something is, the lower its specific heat? My second question is, surface tension is the measure of how difficult it is to stretch the surface of a liquid. Well, I don't understand how you stretch the surface of a liquid. So, that's definitely something I'd like to know more about. And my third and final question is, why does salinity affect the speed of sound in water? An increased amount of salinity in the water causes an increased speed of sound. But why? Salinity means that there's salt in the water, and I don't understand why the presence of salt makes sound travel faster in water. So those are my 3 questions. Let me know if you can help me figure out the answers to them. Thanks.